also what you really suffered in that particular moment in the trenches with Raila Odinga?
I think on my part, I want to say that if you look and try and analyze Raila in a show for about even 1 hour, there may not be enough time.
Indeed.
And yet, indeed, when we comprehend and analyze his existence, like Senior Counsel Mogeni has said, all of us have met Raila from very different angles. If Senior Counsel Madam Shamala talks about her experience, and I hope she will, it's a very interesting experience. Mine was very simple. I had just come back from my high school. And I then got to Kisii, of course. That's where my home was, and I found my father was running for elections. And then by accident, I'm told, you drive this car, run somewhere, there are people waiting there. So as I get to a place called Nyakoya Hotel, I then bump into Raila. It was just a petrol station. So I look, I was driving a 504. Actually, I remember left-hand drive car. So I look, then he walks. He says, hello, how are you? I said, it's fine. And you know, that time, everybody feared Raila, including me. All right? Even though, if you take that story and fast forward it, he then remembered our issue when we were arrested. The university students who were taken to committee, before later our charges were actually dropped under 87. We were then, Raila was picked up at night when we were in the cells. And I always remember that sound. You know that sound in the movies where somebody's walking on stairs? Katang, katang, but you could hear like there are 3 people or 4. You hear this, ta-ta, ta-ta, but they're walking on the corridor. And like me, I was in cell 2. I think it was 2E or 4E. Then right across was Murathe. It was really wonderful at that time because Murathe is the one who would give us most of the information. And other people were there, Kibisu Kabatesi, Musalia had been released, so we were left trying to figure out what to do. And that whole day, I think it took about 2 days, because we didn't know where he was taken. For us, we concluded the guy is going to be hanged. So after about 1 week, the information came out that he had now been placed under detention. And that's when he was put in detention, that's when our charges were reduced from sedition, and then there was also, you know, all these charges which were laid. Then the government dropped them on 87. By that time, we had actually been in the cells the whole period, from the time we were arrested until when we were released. It was about 2 years, 9 months. It was close to 3 years. Then later now, I meet him. And like Honorable Kongo has said, Raila was somebody whom, if you met, the first impression was that my first impression, I thought he was a thug. Because he had the beard and, you know, he was always dressed heavy. So in my little mind, I was like, how do I even interact with this guy? But then he now started the conversation. He asked me about my father. I said, actually, I'm campaigning for him. And then he said, how is Jaramogi doing? I said, you know, here it's Kanu. My father's been in Kanu for so long. The race is very tight. And we'll wait and see. But right now, Kanu is doing well in the constituency because we've been running around, dishing out T-shirts, those things. Then he left. Actually, before he left, he told me, no, here's my number. All right? Call me. And that time, he had a mobile. So I saw a huge thing, you know. He told me, this number, you take it. And then he left. The next time I find him is when I want to be now the Member of Parliament for Kituru Chache constituency. And then I met him. I'll not talk about the details. Then later, I win the elections. Then at that time, I had actually been ringed out by ODM. And the ticket I had was PDP. So I got a briefcase party. I then went to Kisii, begged people, they voted for me. And then I came to Parliament. So as I'm coming, my greatest enemy is Raila and the team that was in ODM. And I had no business with them, and I didn't want to see all of them. Then Charity Ngilu comes to my mother's house, tells me, young man, we know you're upset, but we are going to nominate and select Merende as the speaker. KANU, Kibaki's side has 100 members of parliament, and our opposition members, we are 100. We only have one party that we don't know where it is, and it's PDP. And you are the MP. Oh, I screamed. Me? Do what? For you people? Hey, you're joking. After 2 days, Charity again came and spoke with me. A gentleman called Engineer Rege, you remember him? He was an MP also and an assistant minister. Came and spoke to me with my brother and said, you know what, this thing is about the country. If Kibaki wins the speaker's position, we are done. So anyway, then they tagged me with Haniri. One of the people who was really very close with Raila also. So Senator Haniri followed me. He was holding my coat.
Yes.
And then I voted, of course, Merende won. And then very, very shockingly, Raila called me and said, I'll make you an assistant minister for foreign affairs. Out of PDP. So then I'm appointed, and then I begin to interact with him, and I was shocked. The man listened. He has an incredible institutional memory. He was unassuming. If I told him I was Richard Onyonka, even when the fact that he knew my dad, he would even now stretch it further to my grandfather. And then he would talk about my grandfather's grandmother, who came from Nyakach. You know, he goes into those. So you are like, this man, how much does he know? Then, of course, we went into government. And the biggest thing that happened during that time was for him. And Kenyans really don't pick this Raila story. When we were going to Somalia, it was Raila and Kibaki who sat. And the person given the responsibility was Raila making the decision to go to Somalia. When I was sent to Somalia, I was actually sent as a deputy minister of foreign affairs, but I was the ODM representative. And at that time, Wetangula was really wonderful to me. He was, of course, on the government side, but he would let me participate, and they would tell me, no, that one, don't do it like that, this one, do. So then we went to Somalia, opened, finished, came back. And then there was a problem with Weta when he was in the assembly. You remember the issue of Japan and other things? Then Weta had to
Japan embassy.
Yes. Weta gave me a note verbal as it was Kibaki asked him if he could stay out of government for about 3 months. So I'm the one who used to run around. Then Weta sent me to Raila to negotiate South Sudan. When the comprehensive peace agreement was being signed, you remember, I know Kenyans forget, I went with over 100 members of parliament to Juba, where we went and campaigned for the referendum. But what is important is not those visits. There was a decision to be made about whether Sudan should actually become an independent African state. And it relied completely on Raila's choice. Kibaki really didn't care much because John Garang was already arguing that Sudan should not secede. But after Garang dies and Raila saw the issues, we sat about it, and that time President Kibaki asked him, what's your call? Raila said, allow them to get independence. Because right now, if you were to reverse at that time, then Kenya would have gone into the Western Sahara case. South Sudan would have been on abeyance. They would never have elections. They would never, unless again you went for another referendum. So he allowed it, we went, finished, and life moved on. So my general perspective, of course, I've left so much because then there was opposition politics.
Indeed. Yes.
Then in Kisii that time, the most unpopular person was Raila. Why? Because he was talking about social justice. He was talking about fairness. He was talking about equity. Those things that are about good governance. And yet in reality, the mindset and the cultural, social, ethnic thinking we had is that those are things you actually do only when you're advantaged. And when you're in government, you help your clan, then your tribe. So Raila began to really demystify the arguments about why Kenya needed to change. Then of course, fast forward, we have yes and no. We join the trip, we finish, we win, we go for elections. And then Raila is now declared the winner. The most shocking revelation to me, which is the last point I'll make before I hand over to my sister. We are at Pentagon House, which was around Kilimani. You have the we have won elections, MPs and other people.
Yes.
We have now gone to see what is really, and it was very dangerous because guys were killing each other, there was gunshots everywhere.
Yes.
As we go to Pentagon House, every single person, I remember it was about, not Najib, I think it could have, Najib, Madam, the former governor of Machakos, Mama Ngilu.
Charity Ngilu.
Yes. And I can't remember a third person, but today I confirmed that Franklin Bett was with us. And everybody told Raila, let's fight. And there are certain people we are going to kill. And you are not going to be a coward. In fact, 90% of the people there insulted Raila. Everybody was there, except Charity and I think Najib. There were about 2 or 3 people. There were about 14 people in that room. And Raila stood and looked at everybody in the eye. And that's when, for me, I said, this guy is a bit different. He said, those people that you want me to go and kill are actually Kenyans. And some of you have mentioned that go and bring the boys from Kibera so that they can come and kill these other ethnic community that has taken our leadership and everything. And Raila said, if any of you want power, just know this, if you don't have the instruments of power, you are just going to have a bloodbath. So let's take our losses. We know what has happened. We understand the scenario. The courts have pronounced themselves. Let's move on. And everybody shut up. Some people walked out, some banged the doors, and that was it. To me, that is when I actually understood that Raila was a statesman.
He always took the higher road.
That there is always the higher moral ground. There's a higher position a leader must take.
Indeed.
And it cannot be for self-aggrandizement. Even when Raila has been accused of those things, even when certain things have been said about him, I will tell Kenyans, for me, my conscience has always been clear. Yes, he's a human being. Yes, he'll make mistakes. Yes, we disagree on various issues. He himself has said he's happy that in ODM we are able to disagree. But one of the facts that I accept is that Raila Odinga singularly changed the destiny of this country by either twisting, using political power, influence, and sometimes his charm to make sure we finally ended up getting a new constitution, which is revered and regarded, for us to have devolution, which was an impossibility because President Kibaki didn't want devolution. He felt with those World Bank reports that we are actually going to devolve corruption and we are going to create small tin pot dictators within the county governments. And Raila said, we've been doing this for 50 years. Why don't we just take the money away from the center to the villages? And as far as I'm concerned, even with the challenges that we have, I think that is something that he exceptionally accomplished for Kenyan people.
Thank you. Thank you. And of course, also you can see